another court date. Didn't give him like, okay, let's think through this. But he was like, in my face, you're not gonna do it. So they grab them and they throw them into the fire, but they were on their way, the soldiers were on their way to throw them in. They get burned up outside of it and they have to fall in because the guys that were trying to walk them in, it was so hot, they get burnt up. And they're in the incinerator now. And they're like, okay, what's next? And someone probably tapped Nebuchadnezzar, sir, those guys you just threw in, they're in there dancing. They're ringing around the rosy. They're having a good time. I don't know what's going on, but they're turning it up. They sing it, it's getting hot here. They didn't say the rest of it. But they're in that fire. And then they say, wait a minute, those guys that were throwing him in the fire, didn't they get burned up outside the fire? We see another. There's another in the fire.
Amen.
And they're like, I don't know, man. I can't imagine what Nebuchadnezzar and everybody else was thinking. But they were probably staring for a while. It doesn't really say how many hours, but they're probably like, they gotta burn at some point. Like, let this thing keep going. Like, maybe in a few minutes it's gonna catch and they're gonna turn to ashes. But they kept going till finally they were like, hey, do you guys mind coming out? We need to know what's going on in there. Imagine if people came to you and said, man, I don't know what's going on at your church, but I see there's another in that church with you. And that's Jesus. And man, I see the difference in your life. I see that things aren't destructive in your life that it was before, but now Jesus is with you. I want to know, hey, what's going on at church? What's going on at Backward Tabernacle? What's going on in your life? Why are you happy in the circumstances that seem like you would give up? It's fire. It's destructive. It was meant to destroy you, but for some reason, what the devil meant for evil is become good. We should be people that are being checked out. They should be watching you. They should be seeing you. So these guys, they call them out and say, hey, come on out. And they came out and they didn't have, their skin wasn't burned, but even the clothes that they were wearing weren't singed. They didn't smell like fire. My wife does not like the fire. When we're camping or at the beach or I put a fire pit in our backyard, we don't use it because she doesn't like the smoke. She don't like the smell it gives you.
Yeah.
You go to a beach fire, bonfire, or campfire, and you're by the fire, you smell like smoke. They didn't even smell like smoke. That's trippy, guys. Ladies, that's little kids in here. That's trippy.
Amen.
That none of this happened.
Yeah.
I want to share, I was reading this morning, my devotion.